Hi, you wanted to see me?
Do you know why I had you summoned?
Why do you always have to make students guess why they might be in trouble? Is this a way to get students to confess to inappropriate behavior? Does it ever work?
You'd be surprised. I have security escort you up here because you are not wearing a tie and that is against the dress code.
But you are not wearing a tie either.
I am within the ladies' dress code because I am wearing a turtleneck that does not show my clavicles and I'm not wearing jeans.
I didn't know that turtlenecks were standard for the women's dress code. I just thought that you wearing them all the time had something to do with you being the ice queen.
I am not an ice queen. I am professional. And I will have you know that if I were to be ice of anything, I would be the ice dictator.
Whoa, my bad. I'll be sure to call you the ice dictator from now on.
How is it that you don't fear me? Is it the lack of a tie that gives you this courage?
What you might have failed to notice is that I am sporting the latest in men's professional attire. Meet the Invisa tie. It's even more sanitary than the original ties.
This is certainly not professional. And that still doesn't answer the question of why you don't fear me.
Speaking of professional, I noticed that you didn't make it to the open forum you were scheduled to attend. See, I remember it well, because my attendance was mandatory.
I have to deal with an urgent matter.
How do you mean the email we received from you during the forum?
Exactly. I'm glad you understand where I'm coming from. Sometimes I find that I have way too much on my plate.
I know. You have so much on your plate that if you were to eat it all you would induce instant obesity. Maybe you should consider an appropriate portion size of authority. And just to be sure, we are supposed to understand where you are coming from by the email about a local undergrad student that put their feet up on the table at a public coffee shop. The one that threatened all students of FLEECOM that if they took their shoes off and put them on a table they would be kicked out of the building?
Yes. It was most unpleasant circumstance and I hope all FLEECOM students learn their lesson.
Learn their lesson from what happened at the public, non-for-profit coffee shop that was supposed to be a student center? The same place that students are not allowed to park in the front of the building so we don't get in the way of paying customers.
Yes. Why do you say that with no fear?
Oh, okay, you also do realize that in OPP we cannot put our feet on the table with shoes on and therefore we end up having to break one of the rules?
The OPP room has a different dress code with different rules to follow.
Except of course if HNP lab is in the OPP room. But I guess we should be grateful that you allowed us to stay on campus instead of shipping us off to another location after the freak out about a student wearing their HNP clothes to school.
The student that came to school in their HNP outfit on their HNP lab day had no right to show up to school out of professional attire because it confuses the people that police the student's dress code.
Of course. We wouldn't want to make it more conducive to learning or anything. I wonder what new rule will come of our meeting here today?
The student simply should not have threatened me.
That's ridiculous. Had the student threatened you they would no longer be at this school.
He isn't.
Let me go put a tie over my Invisa tie.
Ha 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 ha. Fear me.